I like Joel Wenda. I think he's a very good young actor, and I think he was fantastic in Cobra Kai, so I'm interested to see him play this superhero. What is up, guys and DC fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is Owen Brinkat, and today I'm going to review the latest comic book film, Blue Beetle. This movie is directed by Angel Manuel Soto, and this movie stars Joel Wenda, Bruno Marquezine, George Lopez, Becky G, and Susan Sarandon. And I know this is a pretty late review, guys. I know this movie came out in August in America, but we live in Australia, so the release dates are a bit different in Australia. So Blue Beetle came out this September. So, still, even though this is a pretty late review for some people, this is still going to be a non-spoiler review. I'm not going to spoil any elements from Blue Beetle. You guys are safe with me for people who still haven't seen the movie. But, let's just get on to the review. Jaime Reyes suddenly finds himself in the possession of an ancient relic of alien biotechnology called the Scarab. When the Scarab chooses Jaime to be its symbolic host, he bestowed with incredible powers, forever changing his destiny as he becomes the superhero, Blue Beetle. Now, I'm not gonna lie, from the trailers of this movie, I'm actually kind of excited for this movie. Especially that I haven't heard of the Blue Beetle character. The only thing I know about Blue Beetle is that I played him in Injustice 2, and he looks like a very fun character. So when I heard they're announcing a Blue Beetle movie, I'm like, alright, I'm interested to see this origin story, and I'm interested to see this character. Especially that Joel Wenda, Miguel from Cobra Kai has been cast as Blue Beetle. I was very excited because I like Joel Wenda. I think he's a very good young actor, and I think he was fantastic in Cobra Kai, so I'm interested to see him play this superhero. The trailers of the movie looked fun, you know? I wanted a superhero movie that feels like its own thing, knows exactly what it is, isn't part of this big multiverse shit that a lot of comic book movies are doing now these days, especially The Flash, even though I did enjoy The Flash. I want to see a superhero movie that's just fresh and new for me. And from the reviews this movie has been getting, most people say it's very mediocre, and this movie did bomb in the box office, so I was very skeptical going in at the exact same time. But I gotta say, guys, I'm so happy to say I walked out of this movie pretty happy, because Blue Beetle was definitely a total blast for me, and I think from the reviews this movie has been getting, I think this movie deserves a lot better in my personal opinion. And I know I've been very easy on most comic book movie reviews I've done on this channel, you know, like Full Love and Thunder and all that stuff. But here's the thing, I watched this movie twice before I get to this review to make sure my opinions stay the same. Because sometimes with first reactions to movies, it's not my actual reaction. Sometimes in second reactions, that's my actual reaction. So I watched Blue Beetle twice to make sure I have the exact same opinion. And my opinions absolutely didn't change. Is it a perfect comic book movie? Absolutely not. This movie does have its issues. But I gotta say, this movie is still a very fun time at the movies, and if you want a simple, small-scale superhero film, Blue Beetle exactly gave you that. I would say the cast of this movie is fantastic, especially Joel Wenda playing Jaime Reyes / Blue Beetle. He is so likable in this film, and once again, Joel Wenda is just such a fun young actor. Miguel from Cobra Kai, definitely his breakout. Blue Beetle, he was fantastic. You really like Jaime's character. You really follow him on his journey becoming this superhero. And I like that in this movie, he first didn't want to be this superhero. He basically wants a normal life. And of course, when things happen, he has no choice to become the superhero. And I think that's very fresh what they did with this movie. And Joel Wenda does a great performance in this movie when it comes to comedy, when it comes to serious moments. It shows that he is a really good young actor, and I think he does a really fantastic job in the film. And I think one of the things I really loved about this movie is that this is also a movie about family, because Jaime's family is one of the biggest plot points of Blue Beetle, and I love that about this film. I love Jaime's family in this film. It shows that Jaime is this character that he does what he takes to protect his family. And his family in this movie is so freaking likable in this film. You really root for them to get protected by Jaime. And every single member of this family that Jaime has have their own spotlight. George Lopez in this movie is absolutely hilarious in the film, which is fresh for me because I'm not a huge George Lopez fan. So when I heard he's in this film, I'm like, okay, hopefully this is his breakout for me. And I thought he does a really good job in the film. He actually made me laugh in this film, and he has a great chemistry with Jaime in the film. Also, Jaime's sister in the film, played by Bella Escobedo. I thought she also does a really great job in the film, and also has another great chemistry with Jaime in this film. She's great with funny moments, she's also great with emotional elements as well. she is also another great young actress. I think she was in Hocus Pocus 2. That's the only other movie I've seen her in. I want to see her more stuff. I think she does a great job in this film, and this is a great brother and sister relationship in this film. I even like the love interest in the film, played by Bruna Marquezine, because the thing about her character in this film, she doesn't feel like a forced love interest. She's actually part of the plot of this movie, and I thought her character was very interesting in this film. And of course, another great chemistry with Jaime in the film. I think them two are really good together. Also, the grandma in this film is awesome in this film. She is hysterical. There was a moment in this film where I was literally like killing myself laughing, at the same time cheering for this character. But this film does a great job of introducing Jaime's family, and you know, while you're watching the film, you feel like you are part of Jaime's family in this film. Even though this film does follow the Latino culture, you still feel like you're welcomed with this family because each single member of Jaime's family in the film, you really like in this film. And that shows a really great heart and emotional depth to this film. This film is very emotional at a couple of moments. And also, this movie has a lot of great heart when it comes to the family aspects of this film. You root for Jaime in this film to protect his family no matter the cost, and I just thought this film is very fresh with that. I really like this family story. But of course, the Blue Beetle suit looks awesome in this film. I love the features that this suit has. It's probably one of my favorite designs, I would say, in DC in a very long time. I love this suit. And when you see it on screen, it looks awesome, especially when it comes to the action scenes of this movie. The action is really well done. It's a lot of fun. It's very energetic. It's filmed very, very well. And I would even say, compared to The Flash, the CGI in this film is definitely really good in the film. There's not much noticeable CGI in this film. There are some practical scenes, and there are some CGI scenes where it needs to be in, and I thought it's really well done. The action is really great in the film. The comedy of this movie is also really good. There's a lot of funny aspects of the film. But like I said, this film is also very heartful at a couple of moments. There are some emotional material in this film, and I'm not gonna lie, I was actually tearing up at one of the emotional elements of the film. It shows how this movie is trying to be its own thing. It's not trying to be part of this universe, and it really works. This film does feel like its own superhero movie. You don't need to catch up to anything. If you want to see Blue Beetle, see Blue Beetle. It just feels like a fresh superhero movie. It felt like a very unique origin story, and it felt like you're back in those days where, you know, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out, Batman Begins, you know, introducing to these superheroes of how to become these superheroes. And I thought Anya Manuel Soto directed this movie very, very well. I thought the cinematography looked great. I would even say the score of this movie is also really good in this film, even the soundtrack. And once again, I love the culture of this film. And I love that superhero films, there are some superhero films that takes really good culture from other countries. You know, Black Panther, you know, the African culture, or Shang-Chi, the Asian culture. This film took from the Latino culture. And I thought the culture really makes this film very, very fresh. Yes, this film does have a couple of issues. I would say there are slight nitpicks of the film and one big issue. I'm going to start with an issue first. Of course, you've guessed what the issue is. It goes along with comic book movies so many times, the villains. I thought the villains in Blue Beetle are, of course, very generic. Especially Susan Sarandon. Now, I feel really bad for Susan Sarandon because she's such a great actress. And now she is shoehorned in this movie playing this generic evil businesswoman that literally could have been played by anybody. She's fine in the film, but her character had nothing to do in the film. She's just this evil businesswoman that you've seen in a lot of, not just comic movies, but action movies before. The other villain in the film is better than Susan Sarandon. I reckon his suit looks really, really cool. But once again, it's trying to be another one of those superhero villains that has the same power as the hero, but just much more challenging for the hero. It does the same thing, but even though that happens, I still think the boundary between Jaime and this villain in the film was really cool. The action scenes especially makes it look very, very fun. But once again, the villains are typical villains and very forgettable villains that we've seen in a lot of movies before. And I would say there are some slight nitpicks with Blue Beetle. One of the cases, there is a moment in this film that involves with this vehicle that makes the film a little bit silly, you know? I know it's trying to basically lighten up the mood after some emotional material, but I don't know, it just turned the film a little bit silly once in a while. And this film is nothing, you know, spectacular or, you know, original or anything. It's just a superhero origin story that follows some cliches that we've seen before. But, you know, the thing about this is that I don't care how cliche a comic book movie can be, as long as I like the characters, I root for the characters. That's all that matters. And I really do love the characters in the film. And I just love this family story. I love this family aspect in this film. It's directed very, very well. It makes the film seem a little bit fresh. I really do like that about Blue Beetle. Overall, guys, Blue Beetle is definitely a blast this year. This is a fun comic book movie that knows exactly what it is. Joey Mayweather is fantastic as Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle on screen is awesome when it comes to the action, and the suit looks awesome. But what I love the most about Blue Beetle is the family aspect of the film, or what it takes for Jaime to protect the family, and those aspects are really well done. This movie is fun, it's funny, it's emotional. There are some surprises in this film as well. I would say if you want to see a simple superhero origin story that's very small scaled, I would say Blue Beetle is definitely that movie. So overall, Blue Beetle was a total blast for me, and I'm going to give Blue Beetle a B+. Absolutely better than The Flash in my personal opinion. I'm going to change my grade to The Flash with B because of the third act, but I would say Blue Beetle is definitely so far the best DC movie that came out this year. And of course, there are post-credit scenes in this movie. There is a mid-credit scene, which I reckon you should check out. The post-credit scene, it just felt like an MCU post-credit scene, really. But stick around for the mid-credit scene. So guys, that is my review for Blue Beetle. Let me know what you think of this film in the comments below. Do you like the film, hate the film, or you thought it's okay? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel for my latest movie reviews and movie-related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.